What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the 2023 Kia EV6. This is a GT line all-wheel drive long range finished in Steele Matte Gray, and MSRP is about $60,000. So let's get right into this really cool looking EV. Powering the Kia EV6, this is a fully electric car with a 77.4 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery. It makes 320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque. This is also all-wheel drive. Max range is about 252 miles. Curb weight is 4,500 pounds. For the 240 volt charging, you're looking at a 10% to 100% charge time of about 7 hours. However, if you do the fast charge at 350 kilowatts, 10 to 80%, you can charge in about 18 minutes. Overall length is 184.8 inches with a wheelbase at 114.2. Width is 74.4, height is 60.8 inches, ground clearance is 6.1 inches, and max towing capacity is 2,300 pounds. Moving on to the exterior styling with the Kia EV6, especially in this matte gray color, it's a really cool looking car. If you tap the key fob, you can see the LED headlights, really nice design to everything with the amber up atop, and then you can see the gloss black surrounding the center. You can see the LEDs all lit up now, top and bottom. You can see that new Kia logo. This finish looks really cool, making this kind of look like a spaceship. You get some more body contours through the side profile. You can see all of your parking sensors, more trim on the side, and then an active grille shutter in the lower section to provide cooling when needed. Safety sensor as well. It's a pretty aggressive looking car. I think it still looks really modern. It's been out for a couple years now, but really can't complain. Good looking design. You got a sharp body line over this front wheel arch, giving it a pretty unique look. And it has more of a clamshell design for this hood. At the side profile, you have more of that matte color for the fender arch. You can see one of the parking sensors, the reflector as well. Then we have a nice set of 20-inch wheels. 5-spoke design with a two-tone color. And you can see all these sharp lines around that. Sharp body line through the side profile with some gloss trim in the lower portion of the side skirt. And then for the door handles, you can see how nice and flush they are. So you have a flush mounted design, but when you tap the unlock button, they're going to pop out nicely. We also have a set of power folding side mirrors finished in gloss black. We have the LED turn signal and side view camera, and then gloss black trim for this A-pillar. More gloss trim surrounding all of the windows, leading to a spoiler in back with more gloss underneath it. You can see how that is all integrated nicely with your sunroof up in front. The overall side profile, this technically is an SUV at the end of the day, and it's actually a pretty large vehicle. Has a lot of interior space. Cool looking side profile where the back end kind of drops right off underneath the LED taillight. You can see the sloping rear end and that massive LED bar. Really cool looking LED taillights as well, and I love how they actually do connect. So really neat design. And then over here, if we go ahead and press that, you can see your charge. So you can see the button right there. You can close it. Of course, you have all the plugs, and then just tapping that, it'll go ahead and close. Down below, you're going to see some gloss trim for the lower diffuser, more parking sensors, reverse light down below, and then a little bit of chrome trim with all of your badging. It's a futuristic looking car. Really can't complain. Definitely a sporty looking EV. Moving on to the key fob, we get remote start, the smart park buttons, lock and unlock along with the tailgate release. If I go ahead and lock the car, and then just hold down on that remote start, all the electronics are going to turn on. You can see the headlights flashing, and then the car is going to come to life. So once that has happened, you can then take one of these buttons, forwards or back, and I'm going to go ahead and tap the forwards button, and we can drive the car using the key fob. So this is a really cool way, especially if you just need to move the car. Maybe you're still inside your house and you can see this through your window. You can move the car out of your driveway or something, or if you're parked in a tight spot, you can easily get the car in and out without having to hop into it. We actually had this in another Kia we were in, where there was a huge puddle all of a sudden. You don't want to walk through a puddle, you just remote control your car and you can easily move it. So a really cool feature. And then of course we can just tap that button, turn the remote start off, lock or unlock it. When you get up and close to it, it's going to automatically pop these out actually, which makes it super convenient. But from here, we can go ahead and take a look at this interior. GT line is a sporty trim level, so you have a really cool looking interior, and there's a ton of blue ambient lighting at night. A lot of the car will glow. You can see it a little bit down below there. basically all the crevices in the car will glow at night. Moving to the door panel, you got a pretty nice design with some black material. I really like the white color as well. Got some gloss trim, your grab handle, all the window controls, mirror controls, release handle, and then even 2 memory seat settings. You have a little bit of fabric inside here, and then a Meridian surround sound. We have all your power controls on the driver's seat. They're really cool materials. You have perforated alcantara along with contrast stitching. These look really nice, really comfortable seats. I love all the white leather to them, and a cool design for those headrests. Spinning around, we have a flat bottom 2-spoke steering wheel with some silver trim. And then now inside the Kia EV6, keep my foot on the brake. We can go ahead and fire it up. You have 2 12.3-inch LCD screens. Taking a look at the center now, you can see your speedometer on the left side. You have some messages that will pop up on the far right side, and then you can also see your range. When you cycle through your drive modes by toggling this, you get a pretty cool depiction. It changes up just a little bit with what you see. And then right in the center screen, you're able to scroll up and down in a few of these menus. You can see a few different parameters. You can cycle through. Continue over, you have some trip information as well. So pretty nice to see all that. You have some vitals down below. You have that control on this left side along with cruise control. We have the forward pacing, lane keeping, and steering intervention, and then Bluetooth and audio controls. Now these paddle shifters on the right and left side actually go down to where it says level 1. That is your regenerative braking. When you're driving, you can adjust these into different settings. So it's really nice to have that. You have all the way up to the 1-pedal driving. On the far right side, you're going to see the stock for all of the windshield wipers. Then turn signal and headlights are over on the left side. Down below all that, you can see your interior dimming. You have the trunk release, charger as well. Then you have a brake. You can see some cool contours throughout the dash, heads-up display system, and then I really like all these striping. A really cool material too. It's kind of a rubber design. You have more of that ambient lighting, and then Kia's infotainment is pretty much what you would expect. This is in a lot of other Kias. Very easy to use, super user-friendly. You have all your climate controls you can easily get to. Navigation, you have the EV mode as well to view some of those informations. You can continue scrolling over, more things like that. And then on this right side, you have all of your setup, so you can really adjust all sorts of different displays, settings, and features within the car. Now, if I go ahead and use the rotary dial into reverse, you're going to get that top-down view along with the backup camera. Then you can cycle through on this side a few different menus. So nice to see how much you get. We have a 360 camera view as well, which is a really good touch to see. Then if I put the car into forward, you can see that front view camera as well, and you're going to have all sorts of different views for that one. So nice to see that. We have our park button as well. And then underneath that, we have 2 climate control vents, and this section right here is a little unique. So as of now, you can see your volume on the left, front and rear defrost. We have shortcuts to the map, navigation, radio media, things like that, and tuning. If you tap this fan icon, everything changes. Now all of a sudden we have our temperature control. You can see air conditioning, fan speed, the heater, and things like that. So kind of unique. It'll always end up defaulting, like you just saw, back to here. So whenever you need climate, you have to tap this icon first. Now underneath that, you have USB ports, and then there's also 12 volt, and then a few more plugs. We have a lot of storage space all underneath. Heated and ventilated seating, heated steering wheel, more of that ambient lighting. You can see a lot of storage in the center, wireless phone charging, shortcut to your camera, parking, and then more of these stripe materials, which looks really cool. And then you have some storage down below. On the far right side, we can open this up by pressing the button, and you have a pretty good sized glove box. One last look at the interior. I think the EV6 is a really nice place to be. You have good features, cool use of materials, overall pretty sporty. You can also see the black headliner with the sunshade. We have all those controls up in front, and then a thin mirror with garage door buttons underneath it, and then a nice size sun visor. Moving on to the rear seat space, grabbing the door handle, opening it up, you're going to see the same type of door panel with the 2-tone colors. You also have the heated seat button back here. In back, this can seat 3 people. You have all the same materials. The center seat is finished in the leather material, but you can pull this down. You're going to have a cup holder along with an armrest, and then you just have not too many amenities, a little bit of storage, USB ports up there as well. And then we have the lever right here. If I pull this, we can fold these seats down nicely and flat to give you more interior cargo area. So hopping into the back of the Kia EV6, at 5'11", I have a couple inches of headroom, and with the driver's seat at my height, I have so much knee room back here. This is actually a pretty comfortable, roomy SUV. Now there are air vents right here on these B pillars, so you do have climate control vents. A lot of windows back here, and that lever is also a recline, and these recline quite a lot. My bill of my hat hits a little bit, but honestly, this is a pretty good sized vehicle. I could see sitting back here for quite some time. The seats are a little stiff back here. However, even at my height, they're supporting my legs nicely to where I'm fitting fine. So honestly, if you're looking for an EV SUV crossover, I think this is pretty well sized. Moving on to the cargo area, there's gonna be a button right here that you can tap, and it's gonna automatically pop open. Of course, you can use the one on the key fob as well. So being more of a hatchback style, this is actually very roomy. I fit a huge 2x4 in one of these before, and this is pretty nice to see that. So on the floor, you can pull this handle underneath here, and you're gonna have a little bit of hidden storage space. And then as you can tell, there's even a lever on the left and right side where you can pull and get these seats folded down. I think that is a really cool feature. A lot of SUVs these days don't even have that. So this seems to be a super practical car. As you can tell, you can fit bicycles, snowboards, really whatever you're gonna need. And then if I go ahead and open this up again, you can see there's so much floor space too. Given it's an EV, you just have the battery underneath there, which is nice and flat. And then from here, we can just grab the button, tap that, and everything will close nicely. So setting off now in the EV6. It's a pretty quick EV. Now you can get the GT, which is a lot quicker, but even this GT line, this thing will pack a nice punch and get up to speed pretty darn quickly. In sport mode, very responsive. Eco mode, of course, a lot more lazy on the acceleration, but it's really nice just how quick this car feels, and it's nice to drive. You know, driving now just on a nice smooth road going 40 miles an hour, it's comfortable, quiet, you don't really hear anything. Huge windshield, good visibility, all the mirrors do a good job, and pretty decent visibility over your left and right shoulder. I would say over your right shoulder, the back is a little bulky to see out of, but honestly with your mirrors correctly set, it's really not all too difficult. So a pretty nice normal car to be in. The seats are really comfortable. I can get in a great position. Steering wheel is comfortable as well with the armrest. So it's just easy to drive. This is one of my more favorite EVs. I think it's just laid out really simple. Interior looks super cool with the stripes, the cool material, and all the ambient lighting. It's pretty nice. As far as handling goes, now this has a 1,000 pound battery pack, and it does help keep that center of gravity low, and when you are taking quick turns, it stays nice and planted. The steering also feels pretty direct. For being an electric car, you know, these are not really performance-focused vehicles. However, this one just drives really solid. If you're even used to maybe more European brands, stuff that just drives really nice, I think the EV6 could be a good option. It feels smooth, it feels really solid, it's tight the way it handles and everything. It just feels like a nice place to be. The interior technology also looks really cool. I think the two screens look nice. They fill out this bezel very well. And the amount of technology that's in it is pretty good. The cruise control works fantastic. I think Hyundai and Kia are one of the best cruise control designs. And of course with the steering intervention, lane keeping, when you're on a good road with good lines, it works flawlessly. So I really like that system in it. I think the tech just works exactly the way you'd want to. These icons, they're a little small to have to kind of think about what you want to press and things like that. And then my only complaint is this section here. While it looks cool, you always have to tap the fan speed to then adjust the climate. And personally, I feel like it's kind of hard to tap all these little tiny buttons, especially how it's so low. I wouldn't mind it up higher on the screen so you don't have to take your view off as much. And then hitting that big bump. Solid build quality. You can tell how it's really solid going over those bumps and everything. But yeah, I'd say that's my only complaint. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I'd rather be up more in plain sight rather than having to look down at these little icons. Other than that though, I mean, this seems like a really well-rounded option with not too many complaints. It's just a nice place to be. Plenty of power on this mid-level trim and a pretty good electric crossover. So my honest thoughts with the EV6, I think we've had like 3 or 4 of these as press cars. We've had GT lines, the normal trim level, as well as the GT. Personally, I really do like this car a lot. I think it offers quite a lot. 60 grand for this one, I don't feel like is too expensive. It truly is a good size crossover. It's not just an economy car with the EV stuff and then they double the price. It's actually a nice car. Like I said, it feels kind of like a German car to where the build quality and refinement level is up there. While there are some plastics throughout it and things like that, the piano black, which is going to get scratched up, fingerprints, and dusty, it's a nice place to be. There's a lot of interior cargo space to make it super useful. And one of these, I put big 2x4s in it and they were fitting. So you can genuinely use this as a utility vehicle. Towing, you're not really going to be towing all too much with the electric cars. However, you could still figure that out a little bit with this car and use it for any of the utility you're going to use around the house. But my favorite thing is the fact that it drives nice. It drives comfortable and smooth, going 50. It's super quiet. You don't hear anything. It doesn't feel like a cheap car. Everything, the doors closed, solid. Everything about it feels like a really solid, built, tough type of vehicle. And the way it drives, it translates to a nice driving experience to where you can rack up miles on this and be in comfort. You feel like you're in a $60,000 car at the end of the day. And even without being the full GT, when you're in sport mode, that was 40 to 60. Brakes do a pretty good job as well. It's a cool electric car. I like it a lot. The all-wheel drive gives you that all-weather capability, if you're going to be driving this in the snow or inclement weather. So it's super well-rounded. It really does just offer so many things. The only complaint, like I said, is just this. It looks cool. The fact that there's really no buttons in here keeps it sleek, keeps it modern. However, I think when that translates to the real world, I have to look down kind of far to where I can't really see what's going on up here anymore. And this fan speed is so tiny, I really have to concentrate to keep my finger right on it, because you're driving in a car, it could be kind of hard to tap these little buttons. So it's a little on the annoying side having to change the climate like that. I'm not the biggest fan. So that's my only complaint, I would say, in the car. Everything else, I like where these are for your seats and steering wheel. That's a pretty good design, and everything else is pretty normal. So that's my only complaint. I think it would be better maybe up here have a physical button row that could still be sleek, integrated into this trim piece or something. So that's my only complaint. Other than that, I think if you're looking for a crossover, the EV6 is definitely something to put on the list. So there is the newest, the 2023 Kia EV6 GT line. Sweet color combo for this one. Good power package. Can't go wrong. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content, and I will see you guys in the next video.